Hi, this is Patty Hodge, and this is Dr. Nurse's Rock. And this video today is part of a special series that I'm doing on grief. And today I have a very special guest. Basia Mosinski is a certified grief counselor, a certified positive intelligence coach, New York State licensed psychotherapist, retired with over 20 years in the field of grief, loss, and trauma. Thank you so much for being here. This is such a pleasure to have you. And I know that what you have to say is going to help so many people.
Today, what I'd like to focus on is maintaining the connection to our loved one after they've passed.
Yes.
So, gratefully for me, it's been many years now since my son Richard passed. So, he passed in 2014. So, I've had some time to heal and to discover and to deep dive into, where things are at for me. So, what I'd like to address is that connection. So, what if we could maintain or even grow our connection to our loved ones who have passed, so that the pain of loss is eased with a little comfort provided by the feelings of love and connectedness. So, for example, like driving down the road in the car feeling sad, when all of a sudden, you see a car that might be, like in my case, a car that was the model that my son drove. And seeing it could send me into a tailspin, or it could be like a sign. It could be like, oh my gosh, I feel you. I feel you. So instead of focusing on the pain, you have a choice uh, to temper that if you can, to what do I love? Like, what do I love about him? And how do I imagine him in his car and, how cool he was and, his music blasting and stuff like that. Those things bring me joy to
Yes.
remember. So that car could have sent me into a tailspin, or it could be a light of like a connectedness. And that's not all. So, what if communication with your loved one is not passive, but you can actually grow your relationship by sending intentions as well as receiving them? So, I like that idea of it's not passive, it's not just wanting it, but to actually intend it and to be open. So, some clarification before we get too far in is that, this topic today it's really not for someone who's newly bereaved.
Mm.
And why? Because the pain of loss is so overwhelming at the beginning,
Sure.
and there's different support that's needed, like remembering to eat or remembering to breathe, or, those basic things. So if this doesn't land for you and you're on the grief loss journey, just let it be. It's, maybe another time will be better for taking this in, because the pain of loss is excruciating, and we know that. Part of ourselves dies with our loved one. The part of me that died when Richard died is the part that thought that somehow this type of loss couldn't strike the same person twice.
Right.
I was blissfully naive.
Right.
That part of me is gone. Another part that died is the part that believed the lie, in my view, that life never gives you more than you can handle. I don't believe that. In my work, I have met many people that are not making it, that don't make it. So I don't believe that. I wish I could believe that. So there are things that die in us, and that's our work, right? On the journey of grief is what remains? Who am I now? Who am I now in spite of whatever has happened? So I'd like to invite the audience to reflect on what parts of themselves have died when their loved one died. So our topic is more for people that are a little further along in their journey. Maybe a way to distinguish that is you're at a point where you're having more good days in 1 week than horrible days.
Okay.
So maybe that's a place of like determining receptivity. That if life is just really grueling, that maybe this is not the conversation. So, how do we maintain connection after death? So, where do we look for those connections? So, a couple of, simple examples of that car that shows up, something comes up on your playlist, or you hear music in the store that you just walked into that is like their favorite song or something like that. There's also something that happens often early on in the grieving process, soon after someone passes, and it's called synchronicity. And those are these coincidental occurrences, like they kind of tend toward the psychic events that are outside of, normal possibility. Things like a butterfly showing up out of season or a special bird that continues to revisit the bereaved family home. Those things that kind of stand outside and make us, they kind of catch us, Those are the areas that to go into and expand our possibilities, if you will. What if? What if that is something that I can take in and is a sign from my loved one? If it, my determination is if it makes me feel better, hell yes. And I'm sorry to swear on
That's
your
okay.
show.
It's really real. You know, when people are in loss, and I love that you make this distinction that there's a readiness. There has to be a readiness for this because in the very beginning of a loss, you're right. We're in a fog. We're trying to do 20 different things at once, and we're not prepared for any of those things. And it does take a minute to step back and say, okay, I need to remember this person in a way that makes me feel connected and whole again. So
Yeah,
what you're talking about is a tremendous gift to people. And I
yeah.
love those signs or whatever you just called those synchronicities and psychic events and things. I know that many of us have experienced those, including myself. Yeah.
Early on after Eric Logan died, when we're all talking about, family and friends, and we're all talking about the sequence of events that lead up to the event, right? There's that going over and turning stones over and like trying to make sense of how things happen. It turns out that Logan asked before he got on the train that he was killed on, he asked, "Do trains run on the same track?" And his mom said, "Of course they don't. Of course they don't." And he was killed on the only stretch of shared track. That's has been many, many, many years ago, and it's still as fresh as that day that it happened because it's that mystery.
Yeah.
It's that mystery of life and death and trying to make sense and trying to understand and to grow, right? And to grow. So I'm curious about you. I know you've had losses as well,
Yeah.
Patty, and I wanted to ask you, do you have signs that you'd like to share?
I do. And as we're talking, I'm remembering a whole lot more of them than I thought I would. Um, I'm going to tell this to you, and I don't think that there's two that I want to speak of. And this is not even related to the loss of my daughter-in-law, actually. It's related to the loss of my parents, which happened a very long time ago. And while I was going through my doctoral program, every time I sat down to write, I smelled cigarette smoke. I knew that was my father
Wow.
because he wanted someone to be a doctor in the family. He got a doctor nurse. I think he wanted a medical doctor, but he got a doctor nurse many years after he passed. But that was very powerful experience. And the second was I was going to work and a song by Tony Bennett came on and he was singing, I do not know a day I did not love you. And I
Oh,
swear both my parents were in the back seat with me
oh my
in my
God.
car. Yeah.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so there were so many others. I mean, so many others. And I'm grateful to be able to say that out loud because sometimes we feel like we're crazy. And that will be judged, and that, people will say, let's not talk to her anymore. And I
Right,
want
right.
people to feel safe. I want people to feel safe and to know that whatever is happening to them, we're going to honor that
Yeah.
and say that's part of your journey. And, and we'll check and we'll make sure that you're connected in all the other areas of your life that you need to be on target, but with this loss, let's walk with this very gently.
Yeah. 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 Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. And you're right. There's when you open up to that, there's volumes of experiences, to share and uh, but not to say that this is the way that it is for everyone because it is different. Our energies are different, our relationships are different, our fears are different. So many challenges to walking on this journey, but to be walked with and appreciated for and allowed the grace to, what if? And to go in that direction. I love
Yes.
that.
Well, thank you for asking that question.
Absolutely. So I wanted to also explore for those of us that have been on this journey for a while,
Yes.
why does some signs fall flat? Like why do they fall flat? Like, oh, it used to be so, like amazing, and now, it's a penny. It's a quarter. It's a dime. Big, okay. I remember myself, I saw a shiny penny in the parking lot, shiny as all get out. Like, come on, it was like in California, so the sun is hitting and it's like so bright, and I'm like, you got to do better than that, Richard. Like, I'm not stopping to pick up this penny, right? I'm not doing it. So I pass by and get in my car, and it's haunting me. Now it's like, okay, that penny, that penny. So I get out of my car, I reluctantly go over there, pick up the penny. It's the year that he passed,
Oh gosh. Yeah.
2014. So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
I have a friend who every time she sees a dime, it's one of her family members. And but I have to tell you, I see change where there was no change before. And it's always in an odd amount. So 37 cents. And I laugh and I say, well, that has to be my grandfather.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. So just there, that exchange that we just had, just there, you laughed, and that release and that love was right there. It
absolutely.
has to be my grandfather, and now our loved ones they're with the ancestors.
Yes.
They're with the ancestors. So even though my son was younger than me and my stepson, that energy is like with me. I feel it behind me and helping me forward. I feel it. So that's what I like to tune into regarding my son is like I'll have a connection with someone like you, for example, and we didn't have to, we could have just been inspired by a brief conversation and we could let it go. But I feel when I'm inspired, my son is involved somehow
Okay.
and I play with it. Then I play with that, like, okay. And I can hear him saying, go ahead, mom, make connection. Go ahead, go ahead. And then, of course, the rest of it, putting it to action, is me, but it completes a cycle. So I'm inspired through him, and I take the action, and it comes out into something like this that is so, I don't know. I mean, when we met before this recording,
Yes.
there's something that I'm feeling through him and you through, the people that are with you, the ancestors that are make you
Inspiring.
who you are.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's it. I mean, we didn't get here. We weren't just dropped on this planet. We have thousands of people whose love brought us here. And so love doesn't disappear. Love just grows. And if we tune into that, then we have to honor them that they came before us and they're still somehow impacting the life that we have now.
Absolutely. And like any relationship, it requires being engaged. It's two-way street. So it's receiving signs and letting them in. And then it's also sending, taking that action from a clear head, not from
Yes.
oh, oh, I got to go do this or whatever. But from that clear, like that clear energy of, no, this is important. This is important to be part of this um, and to grow the love, really. I mean, to grow the love in a world that, oh my goodness,
Really
there's
needs
so
love.
much to beat us down. There's so
I
much,
know. Well,
yeah,
I'm just thinking we didn't ever talk about this before, but there are, cultures have different ways of addressing loss. And in our culture, it's very repressed in some ways. And so what you're doing is just allowing people to have that freedom to be truthful about what's happening inside them and to find what they think they've lost. Because when someone passes, they're really somehow always going to be with us in some way, um,
yeah,
in memory or however that's working.
yeah, yeah. And so how do we keep that channel open? We're talking about energy, right? We're talking about energy. And of course, grief comes with sadness. It
Yes.
it does, and it comes in waves and it stays for its own duration. So this isn't about judging, oh, I shouldn't feel grief if I do. No, we should feel all the depths
Yeah.
of our feelings of being human, right? But if we stunt, if we repress the grief or don't allow ourselves to laugh or feel joy when it's knocking on our door, we're squashing ourselves into this other place, which is half life. It's a half life. But allowing ourselves to laugh and to scream if we need to, and feel those feelings as they're going. But the way to keep the channel open is to be able to shift to a more positive thought, a more positive feeling. Tune into the body. Okay, this train of thought isn't helping me any longer. If it's true, obviously there's some work to be done in grief of turning over the stones and really looking at all the details of how this happened. But then there's a point where that work is done, and the work then is like, okay, I know where that's going to take me. I'm choosing not to go there. I'm not denying it. I'm aware. I had this feeling. I'm starting to go there, and now I'm in charge of me, and I'm choosing to focus on the love and find it. Take myself for a walk. Go out, go to nature, whatever that is that comfort place of rejuvenation and quieting the mind, letting it rest and being in our bodies. So that's one way, is taking care of yourself
Yes.
will open the channel to love and to that connection, if we choose it, to our loved ones. And then there's other things like talking to our loved ones, like, hey, good morning, thinking about you, or good night, or asking for guidance. Oh, I'm thinking about this new venture, is that something that I should do, and listening to their voice. My understanding is that our loved ones do not steer us wrongly. They're not burdened by their personalities. They're not burdened by their dysfunction. They're that essence of them that was the lovable part of them, that part that continues. Um, yeah, so opening up to that and presenting yourself as open as you can, open to the channel.
Wow. What everything that you're saying is such a gift to people. And I hope that they take it in and honor what's going on. When they've lost someone and they're feeling so bereft about not having them that they really just it's a heartbeat away, really, to be in touch with that love that they have for them.
Yeah,
And yeah.
it's hard at different times. It's so hard to see it. It's like, yeah, great, but I can't get there. I can't get there. And this is the part of like stopping judgment, letting go. Like I have a visual bucket, literally a bucket, like a big bucket that I put things that are not in my control. I toss them into the bucket. Like it's not on me. I don't know if this is real. I don't have to figure it out. It's
Right.
not on me to figure it out. So I can let go and that worry, letting go of some of that worry that doesn't belong to me can free me up to be happy. It can free me up to remember the good stuff. It can free me up for a better going forward. So there's little tricks and tools, to quiet the chatter.
Well, and you're an expert in those tools, so we need to tell people how to be in touch with you and learn some of those tools. And I'm hoping that, excuse me, during this 30 days, people will learn different techniques and things that they can draw on and books to read and things to do and ways to be improving their self-care. So thank you are right on top as far as I'm concerned of people that they should be aware of and know your
Thank
work and so I will um, I will
you.
put your bio and all of your links in the description. And this didn't seem like enough time to have you here. I need you to agree to come back someday and talk to us.
100%. 100%. Yeah, for
100%
sure.
thank you. I do appreciate that. And I know that people will either have questions or comments or something, and I certainly want you to be able to respond to that. So thank you so
I
much.
love that. I would also like to invite your viewers
Yeah.
to, if they're interested, only if they're interested or inspired in some way, to learn about shifting energy from worry and negative thoughts into something more positive. So there's a link on my link tree to sign up for a free half-hour discovery call. And if they do that, I'm going to send them a brief assessment and we'll meet to unpack it personally, one to one. So that's my gift to your audience.
Oh, what a gift you are. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so
I
welcome.
know
It'll
that
be fun.
that will be a real big help for a lot of people. So, Basha, blessings to you.
Thank you so much, and you as well.
And please do stay in touch and do come back.
I will.
Thank you. Bye for now.